Everything Donald Trump says is a lie. Have you heard that one before? Jeremy here from the Weekly Narrative. We're going to talk about the reactions that we saw to President Trump's border crisis speech. Now, the TDS Porn addicts, Trump derangement syndrome porn addicts, were ready and waiting before the speech even started to do their fact-checking, because in their eyes, Trump lies all the time. A lot of lies, a lot of lying. And they anticipated this speech was going to be full of lies. So we're going to look at their reactions. We're going to go through a few different fact-checkings that happened from left-wing people, including CNN, CBS, and David Pakman, one of my favorite left-wing YouTubers, DP for short. Let's go through their analysis and see just how much Donald Trump lied. CBS, fact number 1. Fact check, 20,000 migrant children brought illegally into the U.S. in December. Trump's claim, last month 20,000 migrant children were illegally brought into the United States. Fact check, probably true. All right, no lie there. Number 2. Claim, the president claimed the barrier will be steel rather than concrete. Quote, at the request of Democrats. Fact check, Pelosi spokesman Drew Hamill said this claim is false. Democratic leadership has not expressed support for steel barriers. So the claim is Trump said at the request of Democrats. That's a little subjective. Which Democrats? Some random Joe Schmo on the street walked by and said, hey, Trump, I want a steel barrier. Or was it perhaps this tweet from Donald Trump might get a little illumination onto this for us? VP Mike Pence and group had a productive meeting with the Schumer/Pelosi representatives today. Many details of border security were discussed. We are now planning a steel barrier rather than concrete. It is both stronger and less obtrusive. So potentially in this meeting between Mike Pence and group and Schumer and Pelosi's representatives, maybe the idea was thrown out there. So worst case scenario, the core of this lie is that the wall is going to be a steel barrier instead. So even if this is a lie, which I don't think we could say that, because just because Drew Hamill said this is false, Drew Hamill doesn't know every word that was said in that meeting between VP Pence. Somebody could have said, hey, what about a steel barrier? If somebody even mentioned the idea of a steel barrier, then technically this is not a lie. But let's go ahead. I'm going to be generous. And even though it matters 0% in the overall outcome of reality, we'll list this one as a lie. CBS lie number 3. Claim, the president said that in the last 2 years, Immigration and Customs Enforcement, ICE, officers made 266,000 arrests of aliens with criminal records. Fact. The number of arrests for the years 2016 to 2018 is accurate, according to ICE data, but it needs context. No, actually, facts don't need context. Not a lie. CBS fact check number 4. Claim, the president claimed more Americans die from drugs than were killed in the entire Vietnam War. Fact. The Vietnam War claimed the lives of over 58,200 Americans. The Center for Disease Control reported that over 72,000 people died due to drug overdoses in 2017. This figure includes illicit drugs and prescription opioids. That was kind of their attempt at, hey, well, he forgot to say this one little thing. Not a lie. CBS fact check number 5. Claim, President Trump said the southern border pipelines, go with that, vast quantities of illegal drugs, including meth, heroin, cocaine, and fentanyl. He said that every week, 300 U.S. citizens are killed by heroin alone, and 90% floods from the southern border. Fact! According to the National Institute on Drug Abuse, 15,958 Americans died from heroin overdoses in 2017. This comes out to about 306 deaths per week. And according to the DEA's 2018 report, the SWB remains the primary entry point for heroin into the United States. It's a long-winded way of saying not a lie. CBS fact check number 6. the number of women sexually assaulted on the trip to the border. Now, this one was interesting because it was actually deleted from CBS's website after the fact. So this was included originally and then removed. Now, I wonder why. Let's claim. The president claimed 1 in 3 women have been sexually assaulted traveling to the border. Now, that's lower than numbers that I've heard. Fact check. Between 60% and 80% of female migrants traveling through Mexico are raped along the way, according to Amnesty International. Oh, so this one is a lie. This Trump lied. This definitely counts as a lie. Put it up there. Put it up as a lie. Right here. Put it up as a lie. Trump lied because more women get raped than he said at the border. That's a lie. He said 1 in 3. That's a lie. It's actually 2 out of 3, at least. So that's CBS's fact check. We got 2 lies maximum from CBS. Let's move on to CNN. CNN fact check number 1. Trump said the wall will also be paid for indirectly by the great new trade deal we have made with Mexico. CNN's verdict: the president has made this false claim before. Trump long ago abandoned his 2016 campaign promise that Mexico would pay to build a wall. Instead, he now makes the case that Mexico will pay indirectly for the barrier, thanks to the potential tax increase in tax revenue generated by his replacement for the North America Free Trade Agreement. CNN tries to justify their answer by saying, but the New Deal hasn't been ratified yet. So because they're not paying directly, apparently we're not paying for it, I'm going to be generous. And even though it is technically true that Mexico could pay for this through those deals, let's call this one a lie. We'll give this one to CNN because I'm generous. CNN lie number 2. Every day, Customs and Border Patrol agents encounter thousands of illegal immigrants trying to enter our country. This is overstated. Well, is it true or false? Overstated? Let's see what else they have to say. Available Customs and Border Protection data shows a total of 396,579 people were apprehended by the U.S. Border Patrol for fiscal year 2018 at the southwest border, which would mean an average of 1,087 each day. Hardly the thousands that Trump supports. Okay, this is apprehension data. Trump didn't say apprehends thousands of illegals trying to enter our country. He says they encounter. So, and even if that were true, technically 1,087 is more than 1,000. Is it the thousands? The highest number of apprehensions was in September with a daily average of nearly 1,400. See, CNN, you're kind of failing because you're proving his point. Now, I don't know if Trump was trying to go for this. Maybe he was trying to do a situation where he throws out a number that forces you to fact check and reveal the reality, which is just as bad as he wants you to think it is. So in multiple ways, CNN fails here because they're admitting that there was 1,400 apprehensions on the worst day in September. 1,400. Now again, Trump's talking about encounters, not apprehensions. Can't label this one as a lie. CNN fact check number 3. All Americans are hurt by uncontrolled illegal immigration. It's a pretty subjective statement. Hurt how? Emotionally, financially, physically? CNN says, it's very difficult to know exactly how much or little undocumented immigrants cost the United States. Okay, so we're going for a financial angle here. Many experts contest the notion that undocumented immigrants are a strain on the economy. In a 2017 analysis noted that undocumented immigrants make considerable tax contributions. For example, similarly, a 2018 study by the libertarian Cato Institute, which reviewed criminal conviction data from the Texas Department of Public Safety, found that immigrants, legal or illegal, are less likely than native-born Americans to be convicted of crimes throughout the country. There is also generally a decrease in the number of violent crimes. I just don't understand the wording of that sentence, according to the FBI. So, too subjective. You can't say yes or no. Not a lie. CNN claim number 4. Trump, at the request of Democrats, it will be a steel barrier rather than a concrete wall. We already went over this one. Pretty subjective. Let's be generous. and give this one to them. Like, that's a big deal anyway. Lying about something the Democrats said. Oh my God, the whole world's gonna burn down because Trump said the Democrats said something they didn't say. CNN fact check number 5. Trump, more Americans will die from drugs this year than were killed in the entire Vietnam War. CBS already fact checked this one. Not a lie. CNN fact check number 6. Trump, Senator Chuck Schumer has repeatedly supported a physical barrier in the past. CNN's verdict? This is correct, but context is key. No, it's either a fact or it's not. Facts don't care about your context. CNN fact check number 7. Trump, 1 in 3 women are sexually assaulted on the dangerous trek up through Mexico. We already went through this one with CBS. CNN's verdict is Trump acknowledged the violence migrants face in transit to the U.S., saying 1 in 3 women are sexually assaulted on the dangerous trek up through Mexico. Women and children are the biggest victims by far of our broken system. This is a tragic reality of illegal immigration on our southern border. CNN's verdict? Indeed, the trek through the U.S.-Mexico border has been reported to be violent. Reported to be violent. Oh, you can't say it is violent. You say it's reported. According to data from Doctors Without Borders, a different source than CBS, 68.3% of migrants and refugees, quote, entering Mexico reported being victims of violence during their transit towards the United States. And nearly 1/3 of women said they've been sexually abused. But this very violence is also why women have chosen to travel in caravans. So CNN's trying to use this truth to plug a reason why the caravans are a good thing. Fact check number 8. Trump. Every week, 300 of our citizens are killed by heroin alone, 90% of which floods across from our southern border. CNN's verdict. While Trump's statistics on heroin deaths are true, it's unclear what a border wall would do to reduce the amount of heroin coming across the border. Well, I mean, we don't know how much it's going to help, so don't even try. Don't even, who cares? I don't know how much it's going to help me to go to the gym and lift weights, so, I'm just not even going to bother. It's not a lie. CNN fact check number 9. Trump. All Americans are hurt by uncontrolled illegal immigration. It strains public resources and drives down jobs and wages. Among those hardest hit are African Americans and Hispanic Americans. CNN's verdict. There is some evidence that a small slice of the native-born workforce may see wage decreases because of undocumented immigrants competing for similar jobs, dragging wages down. Research shows the negative effects are concentrated among workers without college degrees, who are disproportionately African American, but also includes earlier generations of immigrants. So, that is true. Not a lie. CNN fact check number 10. Quote, in the last 2 years, ICE officers made 266,000 arrests of aliens with criminal records, including those charged or convicted of 100,000 assaults, 30,000 sex crimes, and 4,000 violent killings. CNN's verdict. Trump is using these statistics to paint the picture of dangerous criminals coming across the border. On balance, the stats he cites are largely accurate. Yet the fact is more than half of those crimes are non-violent. Oh, they're non-violent, guys. It's okay. The crimes are non-violent. Don't worry about it. Now, we've been keeping a tally here, and let's move on to the video analysis. One of my favorite left-wing YouTubers, DP, David Pakman, did a live analysis, or he attempted to at least do a live fact-checking on Trump's speech, and let's see what he had to say.
Where to start? My lie detector actually broke, and I had to bring in a hand-cranked one because that was just endlessly stunning.
Your lie detector broke. Wow, that's impressive. Yeah, there must have been a lot of lies. I'll take your word for it. Let's see what you got.
Number one, Donald Trump opened by saying there is a crisis. Saying there's a crisis doesn't make it so.
Okay, so yeah, crisis is kind of subjective. You can't really claim that's a lie because in a lot of people's eyes in America, it is a crisis. Now, it's not. I understand it's not a crisis in your reality. DP, but in a lot of people's minds, it is a crisis. So again, too subjective. Can't call it a lie.
Trump said that he said that we have no way. I can't even find it. I mean, there's just so many lies. He said that we have no way to quickly return people to where they came from. That's not true. Sort of subjective. You can decide what it means for something to be quick.
Sort of subjective, yeah. So not really a lie. You can't really say it's a lie if it's subjective now. Can we really? Yeah, okay. So not a lie.
Mostly we are not being hurt by undocumented immigrants. Donald Trump had some anecdotes of undocumented immigrants that committed violent crimes here. Of course, most violent crimes overwhelmingly and at a higher rate committed by American-born citizens.
Mostly we're not being hurt by immigrants. Okay, so he didn't define a method of harm that we're actually suffering. So it's, again, too subjective for you to actually call that a lie, because I'm sure if you ask the families of the police officer who was just shot or any of the victims of MS-13 gang members, they would probably tell you that they're hurt. So again, depends on who you ask what the definition of hurt is. Not possible to call that a lie.
It is not really straining resources, because there are resources that go to dealing with undocumented immigration. But remember, undocumented immigrants are single-handedly holding up multiple industries, including agriculture, where we get our food. You know, if you live in Massachusetts in the winter and you're having oranges and bok choy and whatever else, who do you think is working in agriculture?
So he's saying there are resources going to undocumented immigrants, illegal immigrants, but at the same time saying they're not straining our economy. So again, straining the economy is, again, a little bit too subjective. He doesn't say how exactly they're straining the economy. Now, the argument could be made that, yes, they are leeching off of public services, welfare programs. So, too subjective, not a lie. I could see why he would want to paint that as a lie, though.
He talks about how this is driving down wages, how undocumented immigrants coming to the U.S. is driving down wages. Corporations that hire undocumented immigrants want that, okay?
Oh, so that's true then. Okay, got it.
Americans are dying from drugs, but that doesn't lead to saying we need a border wall.
Oh, so it's true, but it doesn't lead to us saying we need a border wall in your head. I see. Okay, so he's failing to realize that there are two realities really going on right now in America, and he can't comprehend the mindset of the people who are living in the other reality. And in that reality, it does make some sense to build a wall to stop some of the illegal drug trade. So not a lie.
Most of what's coming over is marijuana. People aren't dying from marijuana. There is heroin coming over. There is cocaine coming over. But of course, that problem is not going to go away if you put up a wall.
How do you know that's not going to go away if we put up a wall? I'm curious. Now, so the people who actually work on the border, I don't know if your studio is like on the border to Mexico, DP or not, but the people who actually work on the border say that a wall will help. So I'm wondering, like I said, I'm generous. I want to give you as much credit as I can, but I don't think that your opinion is worth as much as the people who do work on the border and protect the country every day. So I'm gonna actually go with them on this one. So not a lie, not only not a lie, but your explanation and attempt to save that was also pretty bad.
Trump saying it's a humanitarian crisis doesn't make it one.
Again, crisis, subjective. To you, it's not a crisis because, well, obvious reasons. But for everyone else living in the other reality, it is a crisis.
Trump says that there are thousands of people being killed every year by undocumented immigrants. I've not seen that data. That seems to me like a drastic exaggeration. I simply don't have the numbers in front of me.
So you can't confirm it's a lie, okay?
Trump pointing out that women and children are always the biggest victims. Women and children are almost always the biggest victims. That doesn't justify any particular policy, including the one that Donald Trump is advocating for.
Okay, so again, true. Failure to justify any policy or another doesn't make it a lie. So I'm not really sure why you even brought that one up.
It is untrue that everybody wanted a wall until Donald Trump was president and said that he wants to build a wall.
Oh, wait, hold on a second there, DP. He didn't say everybody wanted a wall. He said Chuck Schumer and many other Democrats, which is, in essence, a true statement. Don't try to pull this little scope creep, on the statement to try and say that it was false. Okay, so no, I think you're almost making a false statement there. I'll let that one slide. All right, I was gonna subtract one from the lie count for that because you tried to lie. I'm gonna be generous and let it stay there.
Government is not shut down because of Democrats. Maybe the biggest lie of the night was Donald Trump saying government is shut down because of Democrats. It's not. I think most people watching know this. Donald Trump said in the Oval Office to Chuck Schumer and Nancy Pelosi that he would proudly shut it down, and he did shut it down, period.
Right, he shut it down because Democrats didn't want to fund the wall. Am I missing something here? That's the biggest, best one you got? I mean, depends on who you ask, who and why the government is shut down. But, because you're doing kind of bad here, I'm going to give that one to you because it is true. For half the country that live in that half of the reality, Donald Trump is the reason why the government is shut down and not the Democrats.
Amazing the number of lies and distortions and non sequiturs that were stuffed into this short speech. Truly amazing. And we will dig into it more tomorrow on the program for sure.
Wait. What, that's all you got? I thought it was supposed to be an amazing, truly amazing lot. This is your lie detector broke over that? I guess that's it, guys. I was expecting a lot more lies, but I guess we're not going to get any more. Now I'm starting to wonder if this was not a ploy by Donald Trump to play these people and forcing them into looking into the numbers that he cites and repeating them again, amplifying his message again for, days after the speech happened. Oh, look, does fact check Donald Trump? No, he said 1/3 of girls get raped, but actually it's 2/3. Whose agenda is really benefiting from that? And here's another question. If he's lying, and some of these lies hurt his agenda because he's understating the numbers, can you really assume a malicious intent in the lies? Or is it possible that maybe he's getting numbers from a different source? Maybe, you're not looking at the same source that he is. Maybe it's kind of subjective. And the lies that we're told were so inconsequential, so stupid. Like, oh, Trump said Democrats said this, but no, they didn't actually say that. But nobody knows because nobody can hear every word the Democrats said. It's like, I also think it's interesting how a lot of the subjective stuff is called a lie. Now, David Pakman is the kind of guy who would, if his friend said, David, you might want to put a sweater on, it's cold outside, he would say, no, actually, Jacob, that's a lie. I don't think it's cold. Because these subjective things, you can't call them a lie. Depends on interpretation. It depends on what the intent was when someone said it. It depends on, their definitions, which may slightly vary. There's too many different things going on. And you can't definitively call these things a lie, but when you're in a situation where it's your agenda against Trump, you're going to take any chance you can to call something a lie. And that includes situations where you're telling your friend, no, you're lying. It's not cold outside. It's actually chilly. Keep that in mind. These really subjective things are being called lies on a pretty weak basis. Didn't really turn out to be that big of a deal. And that was kind of reinforced by the Washington Post article that came out here. You can read the headline for yourself, but I think, judging by that article and a lack of reaction after the fact, I'm pretty sure Donald Trump won that one, and I'm pretty sure he played everyone who tried to go into it with this little fact-checking game in mind. So let me know what you guys think in the comments below, and watch out for the next weekly narrative. Be sure to subscribe, like, and subscribe. Hit the notification bell, otherwise you won't get anything. YouTube will definitely censor me. So
Oh my goodness.